You're watching CHCO-TV's gavel-to-gavel coverage of the November 2023 Committee of the Whole meeting for the Municipal District of St. Stephen. I'm Florence Mitchell. In today's meeting, a presentation will be made by the students of St. Stephen High School's Lead and Develop class, and a public hearing will be held for Bylaw M-2-05, a bylaw to amend Municipal Plan Bylaw M-2. In new business, committee will discuss the 2024 municipal budget process and the surplus lands policy. Committee will then appoint members to the ad hoc committee on minimum property standards. Now let's join committee in the Moosehead Room at the Garceland Civic Center in St. Stephen.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Municipal District of St. Stephen Committee of the Whole meeting on Wednesday, November 8th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Call to order. First off, before we begin, I would like to respectfully acknowledge that we are gathered today on ancestral unceded territory of the Passamaquoddy people. And I'd like to have a mover and seconder to approve the agenda. With an addition, I got the branch number 9 Legion here to give us a presentation as well. So with that addition, all good? Okay, so Joyce, or Councilor Wright, Deputy Mayor Wheaton. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried, thank you. Any conflicts of interest this evening? Seeing none. Mover and seconder for the adoption of the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting held October 11th, 2023 be approved as presented. Councillor Heislip, Councillor Cornish. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, so we'll start up. I got Leroy Savoy here, from the president of branch number 9 Legion, with a presentation of the poppy flag for the town of St. Stephen, or the Municipal District of St. Stephen, sorry. There we go, yeah.
On behalf of St. Croix Branch number 9, I want to present to Mayor Alan McEachran for the town of St. Stephen this poppy branch, poppy flag, and we hope you will fly it honorably in memory of our veterans this time of the year, each year. I'm also including a copy of the guidelines for flying the flag.
Poppy flag protocol, yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Sorry for slowing the meeting down.
No, it's a good cause. Appreciate you coming. And Harold, thanks for your very nice. All right.
All right, thanks again.
Thanks again.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
See ya. Good night. Okay. That was nice. Okay. Okay, next up, we got the presentation from the St. Stephen High School Lead and Develop class students. Welcome.
Hello. Hi. We have a presentation.
The mic's right there, girls.
Okay.
You can pull it up.
There we go. Okay. So hello, my name is Casey Sutherland,
I'm Marcia Vest.
And I'm Elizabeth Haley.
and we are here to present our class initiative from our Lead and Development class. So Lead and Development is a new class in our high school that is targeted to kind of helping the school, and currently all the students are grad class executive. We run things like the assemblies and the spirit days, and currently we're working on something called personal initiatives.
So we have two different types of initiatives that work in our class. We have a community initiative where everyone in our class works together in order to complete one goal for the year. And then we have separate personal initiatives where small groups like us work together in order to, I guess, divide and work together to complete a goal we're passionate about.
Our initiative as a group is to get the 3 crosswalks in our school area painted. So the first one is going to be rainbow in support of the LGBTQ+ community. The second would be orange for truth and reconciliation, like the one that is just down the road from here. And the third one would be school colors, which are green and white.
Our principal, Miss Amos, got us a grant of $1,000 to do something good for the school, and we plan to use this money to pay for any paint or things we're going to need to paint the crosswalks.
The reason why we chose to do this initiative is because we wanted to support our wonderful school spirit by doing our green and white crosswalk, but we also wanted to engage in further inclusivity and embrace the diversity in our student body. We think it would engage a sense of welcoming within our school, and we also believe it would be a great way to unite our community, and it would help our youth create a positive relationship within others in the community.
Because there are certain rules and guidelines which come with putting paint on a crosswalk, we request the help of municipal staff to help us get it done correctly and safely.
And the reason that we think that youth council is important is because it has different representation in our community between ages.
We think it helps individuals feel a sense of belonging and feel valued for who they are. And we believe as young people that we are passionate and fueled to make a difference in our school and our municipal community.
We thank you kindly for your consideration.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I think we've already kind of talked about staff being able to help out and do their thing to help protect you while it's being done and do the safety aspects of it as well. So thank you very much. That wasn't so bad. Once you got going. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Okay. See ya, Michelle. She's got her same smile as her mom. Okay, next up, we got a public hearing for I need a mover second for a public hearing for M-2-05 bylaw to amend municipal plan bylaw M-2.
I'll second.
Councillor Greenlaw, Councillor Eastman. Any questions on that?
The presentation is
Yep.
So thank you, Your Worship. This is a municipal plan bylaw presentation, which is required under Section 25 of the Community Planning Act. This is an amendment which is initiated by Municipal District Administration. It's actually to correct some errors with the current municipal plan map and the subsequent zoning bylaw that's based off that municipal plan for two properties on Union Street. So the first one is 129 Union Street, which is the home of the St. Croix Vocational Center. It's been in institutional use since 1976, but since 2011, it has been zoned as a residential lot, which creates limitations for future alterations in use of the building. Should they want to make changes to the buildings, we have to make sure it conforms with zoning. So we recently had an issue where we couldn't issue a permit for a change because of that. And while we were looking at this too, we have a neighboring property at 113 Union Street, which has been a residential use since 1993. And As well, for some reason, this had been zoned for utility purposes for over 15 years, and so these two properties need to be corrected. And it wasn't fair in this case for making the owners of the property to apply to rezone, because that's a $400 cost. So in this case, the cost is waived by the municipality applying on behalf of the two owners. So the two owners are aware of this, and in one instance, they're applying for a temporary approval from planning committee to get this alteration approved in a timely fashion, because it can take a couple months to get a bylaw passed. But this is one of these things that, in the matter of working with a bylaw, you have to do some housekeeping. I think you'd seen a bylaw like this previously. So when we go to do a municipal plan update for the municipality, we're going to be looking through each and every property to make sure that these types of errors are corrected when the whole plan is updated. So, but for now, we have to work with the document that's in front of us. So this is a recommendation from staff to rezone and redesignate these properties in the municipal plan so that they can be subsequently rezoned to their correct designations. So you see the St. Croix Vocational Center would be brought into the light blue category, and the 113 Union Street, a residential property, actually be designated for residential. And that's what the municipal plan amendment would accomplish. Fairly straightforward. It doesn't really, it's not to accommodate any proposed or future development. It's just to really recognize what's there and what has been there for many years, and what we believe is an error in the map from many years ago that needs to be corrected now.
Any questions from council? Okay. So I'm going to do my first reading, or no? Just, oh, that's for next. Okay.
Just accepting the presentation.
All right.
All of their series, you'll see this many times
Yeah.
over the next
Okay.
while.
Okay. All right. All right. So I had a mover and second. I don't even have to do that either. No. Okay. There's the map. All right. Next up, we got request for decision. The Office of the Chief Administrative Officer, Report 28-23, November 2023. That the Committee of the Whole provide direction to staff whether resources should be spent drafting a policy similar to the one attached to this report for consideration by council.
I don't see that.
Are we out of order, Your Worship?
Well,
I'm gonna pull up the agenda again.
I think it's municipal budget is next.
well, well, it's right following that map. Must be this is that it might be.
I think that's an
8?
error.
No,
You
right?
can't make a decision in committee.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the next item, Your Worship, was just a quick talk about the budget process.
There's nothing
Screen
in
in front of you here.
No, I don't have it. No.
There's nothing here.
There's nothing there. Okay, so it's just up here.
Not sure what happened with your sheet, but,
That's fine. It's all good.
it was on the, this is what's on the website, so this is what's publicly posted. That. So as far as the budget process, I'm happy to inform committee that just today we finally got the last numbers that we were waiting for from our friends at Environment and Local Government. So we are incorporating those numbers, which related to the fire cost share numbers into the document. Actually tonight, Mr. Godsoe's not here as he's plugging away, but making some budget changes that we have made over the last couple of days to our draft. What the approach that we're taking administratively at this point of the drafting is essentially a status quo budget, and then we have all the items that have been discussed as potential considerations for budget on a separate list that when we talk to you folks, we'll be able to go through them and prioritize them and decide what's in, what's out based on the budget implications of each of those decisions. So we've got that kind of standing to the side. And so I think what we need to do, I think we've mentioned a number of times, is that the legislative deadline for budget to be submitted to the government is the 15th of this month. Whether or not we're logistically capable of meeting that deadline might be a discussion that we have to have. But I think what we're going to need to do is set up a special meeting of this committee to discuss to go through the budget in more detail. Obviously, this is your first budget, and I think it'll take longer than the last budget we did with the last council, because we've been through it so many times that we had a more familiarity than we're going to have here. So I'll be looking for a date from committee, preferably in the next week or so, to sit down and have that review. I know Councillor Greenlaw has been good enough to send some notes down to my office of things that they would like discussed at a budget meeting. I'll extend the offer yet again to any other councillors. If you got something on the list, or even if you think it's already in the budget, feel free to send a note just so that we can confirm either that it's there or that it's not for you. Or if it's not in the budget right now, we'll put it on the list of things that to be considered, so we don't miss anything. But we are quickly going to be coming up on short timelines. And I don't want to take away from your deliberation time and your understanding. I think it's the biggest part is I want you folks to understand how we came up with some of these numbers. If anybody the department heads will know that have seen Mr. Godsow's 40 spreadsheets that all interlink with formulas. It can be a convoluted process, and we want to make sure we have time to actually have you have a comfort level with where the numbers are come from. So happy to figure out how you would like to do that, but it's going to take some time, I think, to go through.
Okay, so would you be ready for the middle of next week, or would council be ready for the middle of next week?
Like Wednesday at 6.
Yeah. So that's where I was heading to, the 15th. If you guys can be ready for that. Yeah.
Yep. We're putting the last brush strokes on what we can do at this from our side right now. So.
All right.
So we'll look Wednesday at 6, and I'll try to design an approach that makes sense and walks you through the process and how we've done what we've done, and then we can get into prioritizing anything else that you would like to add and fun discussions like tax implications. So that's great. So that's all I want to do is let you know where we're at, which is final stages of our admin side, and get that set up with you folks. So if there's anything else anybody wants to bring up now, that's happy to do that. Or like I said, please email me thoughts, ideas, what have you, so that we can capture it all and make sure we address it at the meeting.
Excellent.
You said you had a list of potential. Could we be privy of that prior to, like, sure, just to see what's on there now, so I'm not repeating it or anything?
No, I'll email out what I've collected so far tonight after the meeting.
Okay. Everyone's good. We'll move on to the next topic. Okay, surplus land policy.
Thank you, Worship. I think in the report it says it notes that Councillor Greenlaw had shared the Moncton policy with my office, and it's and I thought it would be good to bring to committee again before we expend staff time and resources to get committee's sense of whether it's a path we should be going down. It has a lot of merit from the administration side. As far as how and why we hold land and either acquire it or dispose of it. It's sort of dealt with in our current procurement policy, not very well. Ours is not very robust in its language or its approach. So something along the lines of the Moncton model would be far more sophisticated than what we have at this time. So I do think it warrants a discussion whether it's good, whether it needs to be a separate policy or part of our procurement policy. You can go, there's two ways you can go with that one. But if the committee indicates that they have an interest in seeing us draft something up that would fit our needs, we'll dedicate some time and staff towards doing that before the next meeting.
So Jeff and his team sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. I was just going to ask a question. how pressing is this when we have a budget coming up? Is it something that you would have to devote time to right now, or is it something that we have stuff on the burner kind of waiting for a policy like this, or is it something we could kind of get through this first year and first budget and then dive into this more deeply?
Through your worship, as far as administration's approach, our number one priority is budget development. Obviously we have a looming deadline on that front, so I'm not talking about dedicating resources in the next 10 days. But
you mentioned the next meeting.
it's next committee meeting, so yeah, not council, because we bring it to committee first anyway. So yeah, we should be able to do that. It's not, I mean, we have a potential model to work from with our friends from Moncton, and what we do now. So we can piece something together for at least for first review before the next committee of the whole meeting for sure.
All right, so Councillor Heislett?
Yeah, I see this one's pretty robust. Moncton must have quite a lot of surplus land. I mean, how much, I know we do too, but I wonder what I don't know, you'd have to take a look at this pretty closely and see if we can fit it into the one we have or something, because I'm sure they needed this because they probably had a lot of balls in the air up there. So I don't know, small community of 8,500 how do we deal with them now? I mean, we deal with them pretty good now, I thought, but it's just more structured, I guess, eh? Yeah.
We've been, as council knows, staff have been doing a pretty big review, extensive review of all of our land holdings, and I think even we to an extent are surprised by how much land we hold title to and what we hold title to, and that's a conversation we'll have later. But how we handle that, as far as what do we stick a for sale sign with an agent, what do we put out through RFP, what do we want to keep direct control over? These are policy decisions that we're going to need to work through with you. But staff believes that there's a significant amount of land that we're holding for no particular purpose in a time when we have a housing crisis and we have land that's potentially developable that we probably shouldn't be holding on to. So there's, it's certainly apt timing to be discussing, how are we going to process these cases, and having a set policy and a structure around that is it's quite good timing, I think, with what we've been doing in other parts of our operation.
Oh, Councillor Greenlaw?
Yeah, that one I know was quite, involved, but I thought it was a good model, and it had, and the other thing that is, if we go to acquire any more properties, there's a process around why we're acquiring it, why we're getting rid of it. So anybody comes in and says, why did you buy that? Why did you sell it? It's all based on policy, so it's very, very clear, and we'd have good justification for it. So, yeah, just a thought, yeah. Thank you.
So council would like to give direction to staff to form that committee and, or what do you call it, committee or advisory board?
No, we just looking for direction to proceed with drafting. That's
okay. So everyone's good? I didn't see any nays. All right. Thank you. Okay, next up, minimum property standards ad hoc committee appointment members.
Yes, Your Worship. We previously established this committee at council. We were looking for 2 members of council to work directly with staff on the minimum property standards bylaw. As Your Worship will probably recall, I had recommended to you that it might be beneficial to the discussions if we had one member from Ward 2 and 1 member from a rural ward assigned from council to work with us directly to try and deal with the nuances between the 2 different lifestyles and the 2 different property styles and everything else as we try to work our way through the development of this type of bylaw. Unfortunately, after we created the committee, we never got the next step of actually getting the appointment of the 2 councillors for us to work with. So I thought it was appropriate to bring it back to the table and ask directly if if council would have either volunteers or assignments so that we know who we should be contacting and working with.
All right. Raise your hand. Wants to join the Councillor Harding? So then I need a rural.
I'll go
Council-
for it.
Council Wright?
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys get one?
We got a couple of volunteers.
Oh, I didn't see you. All right. How do I do that now? I got 3.
Take the better looking one, go that way.
All right. And it came from you, so. All right, Council Wright and Council Harding. Thank you.
I appreciate that. We'll be in contact shortly.
Oh,
That's it for opening workshop.
jeez, okay.
There's a couple issues to discuss and close, but.
Okay, so motion to move into close, please.
I so move.
Councilor Eastman, Councilor Rodas. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none.